it started. Hello! I'm very excited about this one. I am also kind of at a loss. I don't really know how this is gonna go. This is gonna be some, like, partially a tutorial, partially a discussion of things, and also partially us working together trying to actually make an NFT. So we are gonna start to finish make an NFT, make some art, get a wallet, put it on the site. Like, we're gonna do all of that together, side by side. Let's see how this goes. I'm very scared. Let's go. Now we have audio. Whoopsie. To recap for anybody who doesn't know, NFT stands for non-fungible token. It is essentially a piece of digital art whose validity is verified by a blockchain. That verification of uniqueness and validity and true existence, like this is the real thing, that is what gives it its value. The sudden rise in popularity of NFTs is greatly due to the coronavirus pandemic, in the same way that Billie Eilish's digital concert drove up value for its tickets by not allowing downloads, not allowing you to view it after the fact. It only could happen once. That's something that is unprecedented in the digital sphere. We are accustomed to assuming that something will be available for playback after it has happened. And so if you make it truly like it is a live event, you cannot see this unless you pay to come to this live stream. That will drive up the value even in a pandemic. So NFTs do the same thing. They drive up their own value by limiting their quantity and banking on their validity. Basically, what people are buying is the bragging rights to say that they own something famous or unique. An artist might sell a limited quantity of these pieces, or even just one. Grimes sold a music video for $389,000 because it was the only copy that existed. The Verge article that talked about Grimes' sale reminded us how excited people might be to own something like Nyan Cat, and actually, we know exactly how excited people might be to own something like Nyan Cat, because Nyan Cat just sold for $600,000. So 600,000 excited is the number. This also applies to things like video games. Video game companies are considering coming up with NFT artifacts like a sword or a shield or armor that truly is only one of 10 in the world, some kind of a mystical object that you as a player could buy and sell via Bitcoin. Things like that have the ability to become insanely valuable, and that could honestly be really fun and bring a lot of interesting dynamics to the game. All of this value comes from the blockchain. And we've covered blockchains in a previous video, but just to remind you, a blockchain is what's known as a distributed ledger system. Basically, it works by storing a record not just in one centralized location, but along many locations, in this case, many computers. The idea is that right now, for example, we use a lot of centralized record systems, like the social security system, for example. If I want to check that a social security number is legitimate, I need to go to one place, the Social Security Administration, and be like, hey, do you have this on record? Does it go with this person? Like, does their information check out? And if that record ever gets falsified for whatever reason, there's no way to know that if that's true, right? Because that is the only place that exists. So a blockchain, what it's doing is it's putting the record on many different computers and encrypting it. It's sort of like a populist uprising thing. Like, normal people will be like, hey, I volunteer my computer as tribute. You can host your stuff on my computer. It will be encrypted, so I can't see it, but I will just host it. And anytime it needs to get updated, I will update it. And so it will be updated in all of these places. So theoretically, if you ever wanted to falsify the ledger, you would need to falsify it in many different places rather than just one. This is sort of a very basic overview. Watch the whole video for the full thing. But basically the point is, if you ever wanted to check that something was legitimate, what you would do is check it against all of those records to confirm it, which would remove the single point of failure of a centralized record system. So here the blockchain is being used to verify the authenticity and the uniqueness of the artwork. I feel like I've said this a million times, but it is true. Hence the title, non-fungible token. So at this point, you might be wondering, okay, what if I want to make one for myself? Well, I am wondering that too. So let's try. So I am just gonna tell you, I planned to do something so simple, and because I am who I am as a person, I ended up going completely overboard and making something that I actually care very deeply about and that I think is very cool, and that I hope you will also enjoy. So I'm gonna walk you through what it is, just because you guys are here, so you're special. What we have going on is a cute little touch designer program. I wrote a song for the purpose of this. You're not gonna be able to hear the song because that would ruin the uniqueness. It's more of a soundscape, not gonna lie. This piece is very vibey. I was gonna make a visualizer for virtual reality because we're working on the EP. We're gonna release a bunch more songs, and virtual reality is gonna be on the EP, and so I wanted to sort of hype that up. But then I was like, wait, the legislation around NFTs is so murky because they're so new. If I release something with my song in it, could somebody make a claim that they own my song? I don't even want to risk that. That's meh. So what I did instead was I went into Logic, my good friend, and I wrote a soundscape. The thought was art in the age of capitalism. You work, you do all this work, you really care, you put your heart and your soul into it, and then someone just shows up right at the last second to get the profit for it. This sort of like gaping like mouth. It's like very sort of scary and all-consuming, but like you can't really tell if it's my rage. It's very beautiful to watch, but at the same time, darkness, but a darkness that you're not afraid of. That's what my tattoo artist said when he designed my like latest tattoo for me. Also, he just did a tattoo for Machine Gun Kelly. He's freaking awesome. Dots to lines on Instagram. You should all follow him. I love you. Oh my god. Anyway, so this is what it ended up being. And basically all of this is made in Touch Designers, made with code. So I'm taking the actual audio, the waveform, and I'm sampling it and taking like the lows, the mids, and the highs, and then I'm using those to drive this noise, which is what is displacing the image to be all sort of goopy. I'm using it to drive like the actual shape of the center hole itself. I'm using it to decide what color the center hole is, which using all of these like composite functions decides what the ultimate things looks like. I know it looks blue, but that's just for the math purposes. Like I'm just using that for the vector, and then I eventually make that not blue here. But basically my point is that I actually really am very proud of it, and I really like how it is created by the music. I really like what the music is about, and I really sort of like the artistic thing that it landed on. So this was supposed to be just a throwaway example, and now I care. I don't think that's good. Okay, so I'm gonna start you off with the part that I did not like, and that was setting up the cryptocurrency wallet. You can choose pretty much any cryptocurrency you would like. Obviously the biggest one is Bitcoin, but the biggest one for digital art and NFTs is Ethereum, and Ethereum is also the second biggest cryptocurrency in general, so I chose Ethereum as the one that I was going to get a wallet set up for. I had initially planned to use Rainbow Ethereum Wallet, which is an app that you can just download super easy from the App Store, and you can just link it to Apple Pay, create a wallet that way, and use Apple Pay to fill up the wallet with, you know, the money that you need to do the minting and all the fees for the NFT, because there are fees, but that wasn't working. So I ended up using Coinbase instead. The reason that I did not like this is because if you've ever used Coinbase before, you know that they are like super legit. Like they're a very legit site, so they require you to upload like a photo of your driver's license or just like some other identification, and also like to input the last 4 digits of your social security number. And I just didn't like that. I just don't like putting my information places. So that is the reason that I really didn't like this at all. But anyway, moving right along. So I decided to list on Rarible. It is, I believe, the biggest online market for NFTs. Obviously, there are a lot of online markets that you can list your art on, and there are online markets for cryptocurrencies that are bigger than Rarible. However, Rarible is the biggest NFT specific one. You're gonna come up here and click Connect Wallet, and then I was using Coinbase, so you just click on it and it's just gonna have you scan to connect your thing. If you're not using Coinbase, I know that the Rainbow Wallet, for example, I think uses Wallet Connect. Whichever one of these your wallet uses, scan that thing. That will connect your wallet to the site. And the reasons for this are not only so you could receive funds, but also you can pay for some of the fees, the minting fees, and we will get to that a little bit later. Once you've connected your wallet, you can go back, and then you're gonna come right here to create. I'm gonna choose single because it's gonna be the only instance of this item to ever exist. Choose single, and from here you're just gonna put in all of the things that, you know, check all the boxes basically. You can upload your file. There is a file size limit, so if you're not doing an image, you're probably gonna have to do this unlock once purchased option, which is like you will put a link to the actual location of the actual file because it is too big for rarible.com. You can put an instant sale price for like however much. If somebody pays this, they'll just own it. There's no like bidding. You can make a collection if you would like. Then you'll add the name of the item. You can add an optional description here. Royalties, this means that anytime this item is resold, you will get a portion of this sale. So it's somewhere between like 10 and 30. I think I did like 25. And then if you're selling like a t-shirt or something, you can put the size and all that. And then basically once all that is done, you go down here and you click create item. And this is the reason that you need the Bitcoin wallet. It's not just to accept transactions. It is so that you can pay for the fees of minting this item, building a blockchain for it, adding to the blockchain, creating the record, etc. These steps are going to make requests, you can see in this upper right corner, to your wallet that you have set up and linked to rarible.com. Do all the steps, approve all the things. It costs like $70, 70 real dollars. I spent 70 real dollars to make you this video. I'm very invested at this point. You do all these steps and then there it is. There it is on your profile. Here it is under collectibles. It's a collectible. You can go look at it and voila, this is where people will bid on it. Oh my God. It was like honestly very stressful. I thought that was not going to be stressful. I thought it was going to be just like a chill thing that like anyone could do. And it is. Like anyone could do that. But God, that was stressful. Jesus. Most of the issue was setting up the crypto wallet. That was the hardest part. I guess it was hard in my least favorite way, which is like logistically. Like I would prefer it to be like a challenge to my brain. This was just hard because there was like a lot of different buttons to click and processes to approve and stuff. I had to verify my identity. I had to upload a bunch of documents. I don't enjoy uploading documents to sites that I don't trust. I don't know if I would ever do that again. To be honest, like, this is what I would say. If I were not doing this for the purpose of making this YouTube video, I absolutely would not have done that. It just makes me feel very sketched out. I don't like putting my information out there like that. So, did not like it. Oh man, I've been trying to figure out how to finish this video for a minute. Like, I've been sitting, it's here, I'm editing it. I've been doing this for a minute. Long story short, I decided not to actually list that NFT, or rather I decided to take it down, which cost additional money. And I think it's really important to tell you why. This entire experience was not at all what I expected, kind of in a way that made me not even want to release this video, or at least not make it look like I had initially been intending to list an NFT, because I was honestly kind of embarrassed when I discovered like how much I didn't like the experience and how much I really didn't want to get involved with it more. It's easy sort of in the technology world, everybody is so comfortable with the blockchain and with cryptocurrencies and with crypto art now, to feel like, why nobody else seems skeeved out by this, everybody seems totally on board. The biggest thing that really struck me was this thing that I kept hearing over and over and over again. Every digital artist, because I've had a lot of digital artist friends from the touch designer community, from the Unreal Engine community, who have been sort of interested in kind of wondering, like, should I get involved with NFTs? I don't even really know what that is. The thing that I've heard most commonly is FOMO. Like, because NFTs are being talked about so much, everyone is afraid of missing out on them, and so they want to be involved even if they don't even really understand how or what they are. And that's the reason that I ultimately decided, first of all, to take mine down, but second of all, to change this video and make it kind of about that. Because right now, when we think of NFTs, we think of Beeple, who got $69 million for his crypto art. We think of Grimes, who, like I've been saying in this video, has sold like millions of dollars as well. Because that's all we hear. It feels like when you hear about NFTs, that's what's gonna happen. That's what happens to everyone, is you just get ridiculously rich. But what we need to remember, and what it doesn't really feel like people understand, is the reason that that's all we hear about is because those are the edge cases. That's not happening to everybody. It's not even happening to most people. That's one big misconception I think people need to understand. Beeple has literally been making a CG render a day for decades. His brand and following were already massive before he started getting into NFTs. And also, he's the first artist to introduce like this whole physical component. He has that QR code thing. You can get the physical art piece that you bought in this big crate, and it's really cool. And he has a website that links, like, he's set up this whole thing. Like, his NFT is like an experience. Grimes obviously is married to Elon Musk, who's heavily involved with cryptocurrencies. So she was already like in this game. And also, not to mention the fact, is again another very established artist, right? Like, she in her own right has a lot of fans and people who already want to spend money on her. There's other things that we haven't talked about, like the impact on the environment. A blockchain, currently the way that it's most often done, causes a huge environmental impact because it takes so much energy to be validating these transactions. There are talks of certain cryptocurrencies, etc., starting to use different methods of verification of the blockchain. It's not really fair to say the environmental impacts are the fault of NFTs specifically. It's certainly not fair to say they're the fault of the artists who are using NFTs, but nonetheless, the environmental impact is something to be aware of. And then from a legal perspective, oh my god, there's a fucking branch outside my window. And it scratches on the window like a lot, like a lot. It does it a lot. And every time I'm like, it's a ghost, or I'm like, it's a stalker, like that one girl on TikTok, and someone's here and I'm gonna have to end a life. Anyway, the other thing is the question of ownership. If I sell you an NFT, can you make an argument that you own the copyright to that artwork? It's what I was worried about when I was first making the video. Like, if I made a music video that had my song in it, I don't intend for my song to be a part of the thing that someone owns. Turns out, no, someone who buys your NFT only owns the non-fungible token, like only owns the token on the blockchain that says they own something. It would be like them only owning like the certificate of authenticity for your physical art piece. Does it make sense? To my understanding. But apparently, because these are so new, the decision about how much or what specifically they own or can do with the piece that they buy depends on the terms of service for the site that you sold the thing on, which makes it even more important to like research what that site is. But it also just means like it's murky and underregulated and probably will get exploited in the future. There is another thing that is really important to understand that most people do not, and I will tell you why. The reason that people do not understand this thing is because whenever people talk about NFTs, they talk about it in terms of a dollar amount. Like they say, oh, Beeple sold all this art for $69 million. That's what they say. When no, he sold that art for that equivalent in like Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever it was, right? To make an NFT, to get involved with crypto art, you need to get involved with cryptocurrency, right? If you list an NFT, you are going to become the owner of a crypto wallet. You're going to have to start watching the prices of cryptocurrencies, the values of cryptocurrencies, and that can be really exciting. I know a lot of people who I care very dearly about who are very interested in cryptocurrencies, who've had fantastic outcomes from them, right? They can be fantastic to people, but they are also very complex, and there's a whole like world to explore out there, and it takes time. It takes a lot of time and a lot of research to be able to efficiently play in that game. And people don't understand that if you are going to get into NFTs, you're going to get into cryptocurrency too. So if you have any hope of having the kind of success that these edge cases are having, that people keep talking about, where you get like obscenely rich from listing one piece of art, you are going to need to understand how cryptocurrencies work and have a plan for getting into them. And if you don't want to do that, I don't think that NFTs are the best choice for you. It just felt really strange, especially making a piece that was just about how frustrated I was with the system of capitalism. This feels like such an obvious extension of that. Some people have been telling me that it's an alternative, and because it is true that it creates a different relationship between the artist and the client, in that the client isn't someone who wants you to do the best that you can for the lowest amount of money. The client, in this case, wants your piece of art, your work, to be worth as much as possible. And also, they don't have any control of your vision going in. They just kind of buy whatever you give. So that's good. And that feels like you're getting more control as an artist. But then you come back to this sense of FOMO. And to me, this sense of FOMO is born from the fact that a capitalistic society demands that we all constantly see each other as competitors, and whoever gets the most money wins, and whoever wins gets to be happy. Like, I am just so tired of people telling me what commercial good or process is going to make me happy. And I refuse to allow anybody else to try to tell me what I need to do to win. Like, you don't get to tell me what it takes for me to be great. I decide that. You decide that, right? And probably I'm reading into this something far more sinister than literally any other person is gonna take away. My final thoughts essentially are: crypto art is a fantastic way to get cryptocurrency. There are two kinds of people who should list NFTs. The first is like an established artist who already has a fan base, who is familiar enough with cryptocurrency, or at least is willing to put in the work to learn what they need to know, and also comfortable with the idea that they're going to have a cryptocurrency portfolio going forward, right? They should make NFTs because they have a way to drive people to that value. This is a great way to accrue wealth over time. This is a sort of new digital medium. There's a lot of exploration that can go on. That's really exciting. Another type of person who should make NFTs is people who are skilled in making digital art, who want to get into cryptocurrency but feel that it has now gotten prohibitively expensive. Like, if you feel like, oh, I wish that I had gotten in on Bitcoin, like on the ground floor, but I missed that opportunity, and I am interested in building a cryptocurrency portfolio, and I'm kind of good in Cinema 4D, maybe this is for you. This actually would be a really good idea. It's a really great way to get someone to just kind of give you a bunch of Ethereum. And here's the thing, like, I keep looking back on this video and this experience that I had, and like the reason that I was so uncomfortable for so much of it was because things kept being a surprise. Like, it was surprising, like, all that it took to set up the Bitcoin wallet. It was surprising how expensive it was to mint the damn thing. It was surprising that there was a file limit and that I would have to be hosting like a Dropbox folder for the rest of my life containing an MP4. Like, I was like, okay, embarrassed as I am to ever be surprised by anything, because I really try to research things enough when I'm going into them that I like have a complete plan and I've predicted every possible outcome that is possible for me to predict, right? It was important to make this video because I was like, okay, well, maybe if these things that were surprises to me that nobody seems to really be talking about, that are this huge part of making an NFT, if I can like tell somebody else who's interested in doing this so that those things do not become barriers for them in the way that they were for me, maybe that's good. Or maybe I'll just be able to have somebody like kind of consider all of the angles that aren't, again, really being talked about. I feel like all that people are saying about NFTs is like, they're new, they're weird, and they'll make you rich really fast. I feel like people don't understand the direct association with cryptocurrency. And when I say direct association, I mean it's literally impossible to have one without the other. I don't feel like people have considered the environmental impact of blockchains in general. I don't really feel like people understand the implications that this has for the presence of blockchains in our lives going forward, and cryptocurrency in our lives going forward. And I don't really feel like people have considered like the legislation aspect, or like the what do I really own aspect, right? If I were to ask you guys to bid on that NFT, I would be asking you to make a cryptocurrency wallet, and many of you probably have it. I know my viewership, but some of you probably don't, and I would, oh my god, I would die if any of you ever felt as just sort of nervous and skeeved out as I did in this process. So long story short, if you want to get into NFTs, you really should. You just should also research cryptocurrency beforehand. You should research blockchains beforehand. You should spend the time. You need to carve out a part of your life that is going to be devoted to tending to your cryptocurrency profile and your crypto art profile, right? Like nothing is impossible. It just takes time. For me, I absolutely refuse to be upset with myself for not being interested in or excited by something just because everybody else is. And I'm not even gonna say, oh, and maybe this is gonna be like a huge mistake because like I could have made all this money, whatever. I am so sick and tired of having money be the defining thing of success in an opportunity. Yeah, maybe if I had left my NFT on Rarible, someone would have bought it for like, you know, thousands of dollars, right? But then also like maybe Ethereum would crash a week after that and then I wouldn't have any money. You know, maybe anything. Nothing is guaranteed like beyond this exact moment. And so if you're choosing to do anything in this exact moment that isn't forwarding your dreams or immediately making you happy, you shouldn't be doing the thing. That's it. Obviously, this is one asshole's opinion. I'm just saying this like for educational purposes because I feel like it's not a perspective that is getting talked about. If you want to support my endeavors, I'm using Touch Designer and Unreal to make all of the music videos and all of the visuals for my EP that I'm releasing. If you want to support me, don't buy my NFT. Stream my music. Get excited for when the next stuff drops. Watch the music video on YouTube. Watch these videos, send them around. That's what I can ask of you. Also, oh my god, I was so stressed by the entire NFT experience when I filmed the first part of this video that I forgot to shout out Grizzly Information Security Solutions, who is the cybersecurity firm that I partner with to make these videos. It's important to me to give a shout out to them in every video just because they really have supported me a lot. Like I say in the end of every video that they are a family-run cybersecurity firm, which is completely rare, and therefore they can offer you more individualized attention. They can go through your individual portfolio. They can look at all of your individual needs. It is truly like a family-run business. They really care and have supported me through the craziness that is TikTok and all of this. Going through a video without shouting out would just be a crime. I love you guys. So yes, that is it. That is how I feel. Thank you so much for watching this and for going with me on this journey. I'm sorry that I got stressed out. It really, really means the world to me that you listened, and I hope that it was informative, and I hope that it clarified some things. And if it did, please leave a comment to that effect. If it did not, if you have more questions, please leave a comment to that effect so that we can all sort of talk in the comments and clarify that for each other. If you came from TikTok or the Discord server, or if you are subscribed to this YouTube channel, this special hello is for you. If you are not subscribed and you are watching this, I would ask you to please consider subscribing so that this special hello can be for you too. I love you all. Stay safe. Until next time. You didn't think I was gonna make you leave without showing you the video, did you? I'm not gonna hype it up that much and then not show it to you, but it's only for you because you stayed for the cutscene.